and that is Rommel Beck. 19.5 points per game, the 4th leading scorer in this tournament. The only guys scoring more points per game than Rommel Beck are Carmelo Anthony, Victor Mariscal, his Mexican teammate, and Leandrino Barbosa, 27 per game. And the tap is won by Argentina. They will fire first. Delfino with it. We are live from the Thomas and Mack Center in Vegas. Rick Campbell, Ala Abdelnabi, glad to have you with us. And an early turnover for Argentina. Here comes Mexico.
It's exactly what Mexico wants to do. They want to trap you initially, get you out of your rhythm.
Mariscal and one. The second, ooh, they got a foul called on Mexico. Wave off the bucket. Mariscal had 30 in the win against Puerto Rico, 189, and Mariscal averaging 22 points per game. That's 0.7 more than Carmelo Anthony.
Absolutely. We talk about him coming off in the second half, really knocked down a lot of threes, was wide open there. Good block there.
Sandis keeping it alive, though, to Scola. And 5 on the shot clock. Scola now from deep. Rather, Sandis from deep, in and out. And the rebound taken by Mexico.
Mexico active as we expected them to be coming into this game.
There's an open three-pointer. In and out. Pablo Prioni led the EuroLeague in assists 2 years ago and actually set a EuroLeague single-season record for dimes that year. And you can see why. What a find. Luis Scola, the payoff.
Great cross screen underneath between Sanders and Scola right there. Great find by Delfino. I should say Prioni as well. Scola with the easy finish off the glass.
Mariscal, herky-jerky, and he should look at the ref and say, was that one an and one? This one was an and one. Mariscal on the board already.
Good move right there. Get himself going by the penetration. We know he's capable of knocking down the three. Defense comes up and plays you, opens itself up for the drive. You see it right here. Great move, great finish.
Bobbled the ball a little bit, collected and scored. Sanders called to the foul. Victor Mariscal.
A little herky-jerky, but effective nonetheless.
35 years young. He's got Mexico up 3-2. Pro ball in Mexico since 1990 and 6 straight All-Star appearances in that league from 2000 to 2005.
Mexico's
Sorry, Al.
Not at all. Excuse me. Mexico's a much different team after a basket, Rick. They get into their full court trap. You see them right now much more aggressive after a made bucket.
Delfino, a nice offensive rebound off the miss by Ramon Gonzalez. A lot of familiar faces not here with the Argentine team this time around. Manu Ginobili, Andres Nocioni, Walter Herman, Fabricio Oberto, Pepe Sanchez, and Ruben Wolkowski. 6 members of the rotation from this typical team not here. And what a throw down by Rommel Beck.
And you got to love the transition again. Hands active in the passing lanes. Get a steal, and then you look straight up ahead. You try to stick a dagger in the heart again with the turnover. Mexico, Rommel Beck.
Back-to-back flushes for Rommel Beck. That one off the steal, and Sergio Hernandez hates it.
It's going to be a real big test for Prioni and Delfino tonight. They've got to play aggressive but under control. Right now, Mexico getting the better of the two.
Gonzalez right inside the free throw line. He was fouled. And Ramon Gonzalez, a.k.a. Chuso, will head to the line. Rommel Beck, that was nice.
Nice extension on that, too. Nice elevation. You see active hands right there.
The swing through, I love that. Rommel Beck, he's an exciting player. He's electric out there.
You're allowed to hang on the rim a little bit longer in international ball than we're accustomed to in the NBA. NBA, that would probably be a tech, but let it slide here in the FIBA rules.
I'm happy with FIBA in that regard. You know, I'm a fan of the clap after the dunk. I'm a fan of the swing through after the dunk. It's style points, Ala. Why not style out here?
I'm a fan of the hand checking. I think that's something that's been taken out of the NBA game. When you watch FIBA international basketball, a lot more physical play, let go, especially when you talk about the hand checking rules, especially when guys are playing penetrators.
And they're going to follow Ramon Gonzalez. And also the moving screens are called much differently in FIBA than in the NBA.
You're actually allowed to hold the screen a little bit longer than you are in the NBA. Sometimes people call that a moving screen, an extended screen. Nonetheless, you're allowed to get away with a little bit more in international basketball under FIBA rules.
Quintero lost. It gave up the foul to Delfino. That was going to be a dunk that made NBA TV Daily's top 10 had Quintero not fouled, Carlos Delfino.
Would have went down, I'm sure, and ripped the rim off if he could. But again, an unforced error for Mexico. I bet you Coach Richardson is pulling this player aside right now and saying, hey, we can't have any of that. Make Argentina earn them.
Intentional foul called on Mexico. So Carlos Delfino all alone at the line.
Tough go of it in the first one. Let's see if we can convert the second.
Delfino had a miserable first game of this tournament, then a miserable first half of the win yesterday against Puerto Rico, and scored 12 of his 15 points in the second half, was hitting threes, was moving to the hoop, and looked like Carlos Delfino.
Let the game come to him. He didn't force it like you mentioned, Ricky. He didn't play well in the first half, but kept on plugging away. You see him here with an opportunity.
Slow start to the game. Sanders took it away from Mexico and scored, and we're tied at 7.
Lost opportunity right there for the Mexican team. Had the ball in their hands. Lamas just allowing Argentina to get a big shot right there.
Ramel back, a couple of dunks and a tray. He's got 7 of Mexico's 10 points, and they're up 3.
Getting the trap here, looking to trap past half court.
Delfino, guarded by Mariscal. Deep 3 from Prioni. Hit 3 of them in the opener. He's got another one here, and we're tied at 10.
Great ball movement there. They overloaded one side, swung the ball through. That's a tough rotation from the bottom of the zone to get out there on the perimeter guy. Nice jump shot.
Ramel back. The up fake right inside, and it is floating. Ramel Beck, he's got 9 already. Maybe this is why he's the 4th leading scorer in the tournament.
I was just saying to myself, do you think he's into this game? Big fella's come up with guns blazing.
2 dunks, 2 long J's. Carlos Delfino and Argentina back. Nice ball movement. Gonzalez denied. The block shot right there by Hector Hernandez, and back comes Mexico. Mariscal, herky-jerky. Almost another and one to get the offensive foul. They did. Drawn by Luis Scola.
Giving up his body right there. Mariscal doesn't agree with the call. Let's take another look at it.
I thought that was a good call. I thought Luis Scola was planted like a tree. And Mariscal gives it away. Mexico still up 2. In case you've been living under a rock for the last 10 years, you know the team in white and blue is Argentina, the team in green is Mexico. Here's Delfino. Finger roll is good.
That's a great start. If you're the coach Sergio Hernandez for Argentina, you love seeing that. Jump shot was there, but he chose to go to the basket. Great strong penetration. Good finish.
Lamas can hit that. 3-pointer, Horacio Lamas.
What a nice luxury it is to have a big like that who could step outside, pull the other opposing big out with him. Hey, the shot is missed. You've got one less big on the boards to rebound as well. So there's a lot of good things that come from Horacio Lamas being out on the perimeter, even though he does spend most of his time inside.
Scola on the repost, the miss, and a one-handed rebound by Hector Hernandez. Back comes Mexico. They've got a 3-point lead. Quinteros. Oh, that was a nice spin. Tried to get it from Scola, and Scola says, you're little, I'm big, we're going the other way.
When they miss their shots, Mexico unable to get set up in their full court trap.
Scola called to start the game. That was a real good look for him. Quintero. And they rotated around. Hector Hernandez almost traveled. Quintero working against Prioni. They skip it around. The extra pass. Ramel Beck. And he remains ablaze. This kid can shoot the rock and dunk. What a player, Ramel Beck. He's having a huge first quarter, and Mexico on top, 18-12. If you haven't heard of Ramel Beck, this is why you watch. Mexico on top, 18-12, and it's because Ramel Beck is getting off. He has 12 points, and while we were away, he had to step away from the Mexican huddle to vomit into a trash can. It's not all good here in the first quarter, apparently, for Ramel Beck.
Well, at least he made it to the trash can. The way he's been shooting, everything's going in for Ramel Beck.
He hasn't missed yet.
But the nerves get the best of you at times. You know, you get up out there on the floor.
Nerves, he's killing them out here.
The juice is flowing then. But either way, he's getting himself worked up a little bit, and he had to just just calm himself down. I bet he feels a lot better.
Probably does. Yeah. You usually do. After, well, let's move on. Nolan Richardson, head coach of the Mexican national program. And Nolan Richardson has a ring NCAA style back in '94 with Arkansas. Rebound to Gonzalez. And we've got a lot of substitutions for Mexico in here. Number 4, Adam Parada in there. You've also got Gustavo Ayon, number 14, guarding Gonzalez down there in the post. Also Anthony Lever, son of Fat Lever, number 6 in green, is checked into the game. Long 3 off the mark. Rebound Sandis. Oh, that was a good idea, but he and Scola weren't on the same page.
Tough get there for Scola, a little bit out of his reach. Good idea by Sandis, trying to make the pass from big to big.
Sergio Hernandez saying, move the ball, fellas. That's the Argentine way.
Argentina now implementing a 2-3 zone in the half court.
Tougher to move the rock, though, without Pepe Sanchez and Manu and Nos. Parada had it taken away nicely by Sandis. Up ahead to Scola. Ollie, you talk about it all the time. This is what he does so well. Change ends, and he scores.
And again, the way he finds a route to the basket in traffic is just uncanny. You can't teach something like that. What a sense of where he is out on the floor at all times.
Beck is checked out. And this is Mariscal driving.
Tough shot.
My bad. That was not Mariscal. That was Aaron Solares with a sweet move.
Tough shot right there. We talk about Solares. Here's a guy 6'8", 24 years old. Had 15 points in the gold medal game. When you talk about the Marchand Cup a little bit a while back.
Delfino went to the rim with Medicine Mind. Turned away by Adam Parada. What a block.
All ball there as well. Great timing. Met him at the rim.
Sandis off with the 3. They are crashing glass. Both teams. That was off on Mexico. And we'll keep it here with 2:28 to go in an up-tempo first quarter. Exactly what we thought, Ala.
Adam Parada using every bit of that 7-foot frame to get his hands on that block. Fantastic block. Kept it in play as well.
Prioni, yes, he's got a couple of 3s already.
He's got it going early as well. Now the ball goes inside out. You've got a threat out on the perimeter, Paulo Prioni.
Anthony Lever off, got it back.
Interesting story about Anthony Lever. He's the son of Lafayette, Fat Lever, former NBA star. Didn't know that Fat Lever was his dad, Rick, until 1998. Then he's changed his name, got to know his father. The relationship has improved throughout the course of the last 8 or 9 years.
Prioni feeling it. I mean, that was from Italy right there. And off with it. That's a heat check supreme after the 2 threes. Parada gives it away to Ayon, and Gustavo is fouled. Or was that an offensive foul? Now they got Ramon Gonzalez with that one. Does not like it. He thought that was an offensive foul.
I'll tell you what, that fast break really ran well because of Adam Parada's decision-making there on the foul line. You don't usually find a big to pass to in the middle of the break, but he was able to swing the ball and get it to his teammate there on the fast break. Great pass, great find by Adam Parada.
Gustavo Ayon, Mexican League All-Star this past season, and he's good with the first. And he was a volleyball player who transitioned to basketball. And there's a look at Ramel Beck, who does look a little peaked after losing his lunch. But we'll see him in a minute. And Gustavo Ayon, 1 out of 2. The athletic Carlos Delfino up to the rebound. Argentina back with it down 2.
Talk about athletic. What kind of special athlete must Carlos Ayon be to be a volleyball player, play at the collegiate level? High skill set there.
5 on the shot clock. Scola recognizes. Goes dunking style off glass, and we're tied at 21.
Slips the pick and roll there. Great decision making by Paulo Prioni. Easy kiss off the glass there by Luis Scola.
Down low, Adam Parada.
3 seconds.
3-second violation on Parada, and Mexico gives it back to Argentina. 1:07 to go in this first quarter, and there's my guy, Diego Logripo, who did not play the whole first half of their win against Puerto Rico. He came in the second half and sent a charge into this team. Absolutely.
Again, one of these guys that plays with emotion, both ends of the floor, does all the little things besides being pretty effective. I see a little demonstrative Coach Richardson right there.
He was mocking.
I believe he was. I believe he was.
Say, this is not how I want you to play.
Exactly. Move your feet, big fella.
And Ramel Beck with the rock right now. He's back in there. making his move on Quinteros. The finger rolling's good. Oh my gosh, what a first quarter. 14 points for Rommel Beck and another steal. And here he goes again. The spin. Oh, he had it taken away beautifully by Prioni.
Whatever deposit he made in that trash can has not hindered his game at all, Rick. If anything, he may be lighter and faster.
30 seconds left in the first quarter. Logrippo, the turn, working against Beck. He lost it, but he was fouled by Lamas, who took a shot between the shoulder blades by Carlel Stelfino, but that was long after the whistle. And Nolan Richardson going with the two-tone look here. First game, it was all blue. Yesterday, or the day before, I forget, it's a long term. He was in all red, today red and white. Yes, I'm raiding the wardrobe of head coach Nolan Richardson. Is it time for a timeout?
I believe so.
Mexico 23, Argentina 21, and they've just notified us all that we're staying, so we are not saved by the bell. But what a tournament this has been for Mexico. We all slept on them coming in, and why wouldn't we? They're ranked in the 30s in the FIBA World Rankings. They haven't done anything in international play in what seems like a million years, but now they've got Nolan Richardson, the 40 minutes of hell that he implemented at Arkansas with all the great success there, and they've got some talent on this roster, and this appears to be the right system for the talent.
You talk about the system, you hit it right on the head, Rick. You've got guys that aren't necessarily one-on-one finishers, but when you spread the court out and play the way they play, that up-tempo, hasty type of basketball, one, it leads to turnovers. Two, it leads to easy opportunities in transition. Bottom line, a lot of guys don't have to go one-on-one in a half-court set because you're going up and down the floor for 40 minutes. You're getting nothing but layups. It sometimes becomes a layup drill.
You saw the numbers on Beck. He still looks uncomfortable. Look at him. He's flushed in the face. He looks positively ill right now, but I guess to take the term from the street, his game has been ill. Here in the first quarter, he hasn't missed. He's 6 of 6 for 14 points.
I have a recommendation. Coach, we could do what Coach K used to do when we were in college. He used to put garbage cans under each basket. Maybe if Nolan Richardson wants to accommodate him, see some of the colorful fans out there here in Las Vegas, out in the stands. Maybe you put 2 garbage cans out under each respective basket, just in case he has to.
Well, let's hope he's done.
Yeah.
And, Diego Logrippo hits the first free throw.
Even though he's bent doubled over there. You see him right there on the end of your screen at the three-point line.
Well, I guess the advice, don't get too close to him. You may catch what he had. It may not be nerves. Diego Logrippo, 2 for 2. We're tied at 23.
Paolo Prioni trying to get a steal there off of the inbounds play. Now they come back and they set up in their half-court man-to-man.
Down to 15 in this first quarter. Back off to Lamas. And the three-pointer is up and way off the mark. Rebounded by Scola. They got 5 ticks with which to work. Prioni, does he have another 3 in him? Travels with the ball. 2 seconds left. Mexico will get it back. And Rommel Beck with the defense on Prioni.
Bad decision there by Prioni. He knows that Mexico's going to try to trap him as soon as he crosses half court. He still goes into the double team there. No surprise that he had very few options available to him.
Rommel Beck fighting with Quinteros for position. Mariscal looking to get it in. And he does so to Beck. Catches, walks the tightrope, throws it up. That will not suffice. 23. And that was Rommel Beck's first miss of the first quarter. Hope you've enjoyed it. I know Allah and I have, and I know that man has. Rommel Beck came in averaging 19.5 per game through the first 2. He's already got 14 here in the first quarter. Mexico at 1-1. Argentina at 2-0. And they're balling, tied at 23.
Argentina shooting 8 for 20. Not nearly as successful from either the 2 or 3-point range. But you got to give credit to Mexico. A lot of their baskets have been easy baskets in transition, thus the high shooting percentage.
Delfino with the rebound, and back comes Argentina. They got a 2-on-1 because they're athletic like that. What a finish right there by Paulo Quinteros, set up by the speed of Delfino.
Absolutely. Drew the defense in as well. Made the defender make a decision. Nothing left to do but dish the ball off to the finishing layup on the wingman, I should say. Great pass, great finish. Great read there, putting pressure on the defense.
Quinteros had 11 in Argentina's win over Puerto Rico. And Mariscal can lands a three. Victor Mariscal from downtown, and Mexico takes the lead.
Got to get out on him. He's great at spotting up. Plays off of his teammates very well, and when he gets the ball, it's going straight up. So you got to get out there and close out in a hurry.
6 points now for Mariscal. Nice dribble move. Quinteros, Pre-Olímpico again from deep, and it's good again. 3 threes here in the first half for Pre-Olímpico.
Paulo's got it going right now. Again, a little bit like Mariscal on the other end of the court, just spotting up there and knocking down the long-range three.
Quintero, way off. But he tapped it nicely to Ramel Beck, and he got caught up in the air. Steal by Pre-Olímpico. Mexico does defend for 91 feet. It's a 91-foot floor here, not a 94-foot floor like the NBA. Here's Scola. Lo Grippo, foot on the line. It's good. And Argentina takes a 4-point lead.
There's your guy, Rick, off to a great start. Argentina right now, good inside-outside action found in Lo Grippo. 2-point jump shot.
Lames. Scola on his back. And Horacio taking his time. And what's the call? They got a foul on Scola. And Scola says, what did I do?
There's a mismatch in width and weight there.
Was that punishment for Lames lulling Scola to sleep?
Maybe. It's a good point there. Maybe. Again, I wonder why they don't come down and help as well, allowing Lames to take 2 or 3 dribbles. Anybody worth their weight should be able to knock down an inside jump shot or an inside layup there. Can't give a guy that many dribbles in the lane.
Hector Hernandez working against Scola, out to Lames. He says, forget the post up, I want the three. Knocked out nicely by Delfino.
Smart move for all our viewers out there who haven't watched too much international basketball. That's all good right there. You're allowed, once the ball touches the rim, to go up and swipe it away if it's rolling or bouncing around.
Paulo Quinteros from downtown. And Argentina up 7 on the strength of that three. Quinteros again getting it done off the bench.
Great ball movement there. We know he can knock down the shots. Patience by Argentina.
Underneath, and a traveling violation. Omar Quintero.
Didn't really see the traveling there. Maybe he picked up his dribble a little too quick.
And Nolan Richardson has been all over his team. Definitely a stickler, a disciplinarian, and he is not liking the way they're playing early here in the second quarter. And you're hearing him bark. The guy yelling, it's not Allah or me, it's Nolan Richardson.
He's after his team right now. They've got him in a 2-3 half-court trap. Argentina being aggressive, strong with the basketball, catching and facing. Oh, bad pass there again. That's what the pressure does sometimes. Makes you make bad decisions.
I was just about to laud Argentina for their trademark ball movement, which is their style of play, and then they go and throw it away.
Well, they probably knew that you were about to compliment them. They wanted to write things a little bit. Look at the turnovers there. Surprising for Mexico. It's usually Mexico that forces their opponents into a lot of turnovers. Right now, it's the exact opposite. Argentina making Mexico turn the ball over 9 times thus far. 7-10 left to go.
Mariscal, and he is fouled by Carlos Delfino. 10 against 10. Delfino says, yeah, I got him. Delfino and Thiago Splitter have the same hairstyles.
They probably go to the same guy. You're going to ask them for their address?
I'm not. You know me. Just sit down in the barber shop, say shave it off, and they go ahead.
Nice and neat.
Number 3 clipper. That's all I use. Here's Ramel Beck in the post. And the baseline J won't go. Nice rebound by Luis Scola. Is that from the Department of Too Much Information?
We'll go with that. We'll go with that. A 3, though. I'm taking notes.
Speaking of 3, just 3 points in the second quarter so far for Mexico. Argentina now. Shot clock running down on them. Lo Grippo took a look, made a strong move. The up fake. Oh, and it's tapped up beautifully by Luis Scola.
Great finish right there. Comes in and climbs the back of the Grippo, but that's legal. You're allowed to climb your own teammates back. Good rebound and finish by Scola.
Mariscal, my bad. Arab Solaris on the drive, and he drew the foul, and they're loving it. All of the folks up from Argentina, they're having fun in Vegas, and they're watching their team. They're undefeated so far and looking good here against Mexico. Luis Scola is going to be a Houston Rocket this year and for the next 2 after that by the trade from the San Antonio Spurs.
Going to play for one of my former coaches, Rick Adelman. He's going to really benefit from the up-and-down style that Rick Adelman employs with his respective teams. We did that when I was with the Portland Trail Blazers. He did that in Sacramento, as you remember. And now things are going to change in Houston. They're going to get up and down the floor a little bit.
Well, they have the defensive power forward in Chuck Hayes, and they have really an offensive-minded power forward in Luis Scolas. That's going to be interesting to see how Rick Adelman deploys those two dudes. Again, under 10 on the shot clock for Argentina. Low Grippo.
Had the shot.
Out to Sandis. What's the call? 3 seconds on Argentina, and Mexico gets a stop.
And if Grippo would have shot in the ball there obviously wouldn't have been a 3-second call, but the pass out, all of a sudden, really does accentuate the big guy sitting there camped out in the lane.
Leo Gutierrez into the game for Argentina. This is Anthony Lieber with the rock. Off to Solares. He spins, and he scores. My bad, that's Ramel Beck. These guys are tough to distinguish, man. They're all the same height.
And he's got
It's like
Castro.
the Alabama teams, all those 6'7", 6'8", 6'9" guys, just like Nolan Richardson's Arkansas teams. Ramel Beck now with 16, and Mexico back within 6.
He's got Castro on his back of his jersey, but his name is Ramel Beck Castro, his mother's maiden name.
Mariscal going for the and one. He was all tied up there with Leo Gutierrez, who fouled Victor Mariscal. A couple of veterans going at it there.
This is what Mexico wants to do. Get out and transition off of turnovers.
I mean, Mariscal isn't pretty, but he's effective.
You know what? It's herky-jerky enough to throw the defenders off so they can't get a good timing on what he's about to do. Get a good feel, get a good rhythm. He is just off enough to be effective.
You know who every word you just said describes?
Let's hear it.
The face of the Argentine national team, Manu Ginóbili.
Absolutely. An unorthodox rhythm to his game, but nonetheless extremely effective.
Out of bounds, off of Mexico. 5:26 to go in the first half. Mexico making a surge here. They're down only 4, and Mariscal now has 8. Ramel Beck leads everybody with 16. Leading scorer so far for Argentina is Pablo Prioni. Has 3 threes for his 9 points. Speaking of threes, there's another one for Argentina. That one from the corner for Paulo Quinteros.
Mexico simply just not able to rotate quick enough to get to the corners there. Great ball movement by Argentina. Good rebound right there by Ayón.
Back to Mariscal, who was short on that layup attempt a moment ago. Maybe more concerned about drawing the foul than the shot. Here's a 3, in and out, and the rebound nicely taken by Prioni.
Prioni at 6'1", getting up there with the big guys. See, right now, Mexico wants to trap, but look at how spread out Argentina is.
Sandis, almost a fantastic offensive rebound finish. Back comes Mexico down 7. Ramel Beck lost the dribble. 13 on the shot clock for Mexico. Solares traveled with the basketball.
See, this is where they struggle in the half-court set because they really don't have a go-to guy that can break you down at the end of the shot clock. You see right there, Solares a little bit out of character, not used to that situation.
Argentina on top here in the second by 7. Come on, Mexico down 7. They are heavy underdogs here to Argentina. Argentina undefeated in this tournament and the second-ranked team in the FIBA World Rankings behind only USA basketball. But do not count the Mexicans out. They will keep coming all day.
Absolutely. The thing about them, Rick, is, again, they play as a team. They like to pressure you as a team. They like to score as a team. They do everything as a collective unit. You see them right now really trying to get up and pick the tempo up and force Argentina into just that, a turnover.
Ahead comes Mexico. They got numbers. Do they have a bucket? Oh, Ramel Beck missed the bunny. Rebound taken. Tap by Argentina. Back they come up 7. Nice feed, but Lo Grippo lost the handle.
Maybe just going a little bit too fast, but again, that's what Mexico wants you to do. Put you in a position you're unaccustomed to being in and have you forced into turnovers.
You can see Ramel Beck, they're paying a lot more attention to him now.
As they should.
Gustavo Ayón. Caught. Turnover. And that's a good cutaway by our Caruth to show Nolan Richardson after a Mexican mistake because he's firing. I mean, he's getting on these guys. I heard him a game or two ago saying, you're playing like the old Mexican program. All right, and that's a straight diss. But what he's trying to do is get these guys to play his system, not the way they're used to play.
That's an old coaching tactic. Have them concentrate on the present, not the past.
Bad pass picked off by Ramel Beck. And he's going all the way for the lay-in. Wow, what a take by Ramel Beck. He's got 18 points.
Beck big-handing him down the middle of the lane there. Again, easy buckets. Not easy, but relatively easy buckets off of transition D.
Look at that trap right there, but a good play by Leo Gutierrez to throw it off of a Mexican leg. And he's upset with his teammates. They didn't come get him. Look at this, Alan. Woo, swooping through.
It's a big-time move right there.
Indeed.
All with one hand, too. Big-handed him.
Paulo Quinteros, he's been hot. He stays hot. What about the 28-year-old born in Entre Rios, Argentina, gives his team an 8-point lead.
You got to look at the bench there. One of his backcourt mates, Pre-Olimpico, very pleased with Quinteros' jump shot there. Foul on Argentina on the penetration by Beck.
Mexico needs Anthony Lever to step up. This is a guy who averaged 15 points per game in their first two. As you look at Ramel Beck, he was talking with Anthony Lever right there, number 6 in green. That's the son of Fat Lever. He's got to get it going. I mean, they've got Mariscal. He's having a pretty good game. Beck having an unbelievable game. They need Lever to join the party.
Absolutely. Here's a guy in the 2005 FIBA Championship of the Americas. Had 10 points, 2.5 assists per game. Anthony Lever does a lot of different things besides scoring. Gets his teammates involved, plays good defense, and he's one of these guys at 28 years old that knows how to get it done on the international level.
Ramel Beck, 6'8" swingman, 25 years old. He was born in Los Angeles, and he hits the first free throw. 2 years at UNLV in 03-05.
He is playing on his home court. This is UNLV Thomas and Mack Center. The arena we're in now, this is his home court, so he's very familiar with the rims, the backboards, the court itself, the lighting, etc., etc.
Enrique Zuniga into the game for Mexico, and Ramel Beck, a well-deserved rest. 20 points in the first half for Ramel Beck. He's already over his average for the tournament. We got 2:30 to go in the half. It's unbelievable. Quinteros. Oh, in and out with that one.
Quinteros is really feeling it now, though. Stroke's looking good.
It is. Confident. Lamas to Lever. They work it around. Down low to Lamas. Fade away. Not close.
Just don't want your big at the end of the shot clock there. Starting off at 15 feet away, wind up taking a 20-foot fadeaway. You're supposed to gain ground, not give it up.
Here's a three-point attempt, knocked down by Leo Gutierrez, and just like that, it's a 9-point lead for the Argentines. And Leo Gutierrez pumping his fist. Nolan Richardson calls time, and I would not want to be the men in green. Nolan Richardson about to use it. There's a look at a well-oiled machine. The Argentine national team, they're without 6 rotation members, including Manu Ginobili, Andres Nocioni, Pepe Sanchez. Doesn't matter. They're undefeated in this tournament. And a long way to go here before they go to 3-0, obviously. But up 9, late first half from the Thomas and Mack Center in Vegas. Rick Hamill, Ala Abdelnaby on the call. Glad to have you with us. Lefty hook is not good. The putback is, however, Gustavo Leon.
Great hustle right there. Going to the weak side of the backboard, knowing the ball was going to go to the opposite side. Great anticipation. Great body control. That's the volleyball player in him, Rick.
Mexico picking up the D. In the huddle, Nolan Richardson told his team to be patient. We don't have to make this up all at one time. Just play your game. It'll start coming around for us. And we found that to be the way in their first 2 games of this championship.
And he's absolutely right, Rick, because the way they play, they score in bunches anyway if their pressure defense is able to be effective. That's the thing. How is Argentina going to respond to this full-out pressure that Mexico is going to employ?
So far, so good.
Very good.
Quinteros. Can you believe this guy? He is ripping it, Ala.
And that's how they're beating him, with great spacing. If you spread out on the floor, you can't be trapped. Great finish right there.
Yeah, maybe that'll get Anthony Lever going. That was a nice finish in amongst traffic, and he brings Mexico within 8, under a minute to go in the first half, and Quinteros is having a basketball game. He leads Argentina with 14 points.
A lot of his teammates are really doing all the work, finding him, and he's just got to finish.
Scola fouled underneath, and it looks like Hector Hernandez will be the guilty party. Luis Scola, a little bit quiet in this game. I say a little bit. I mean, he's working on a 10-point first half.
See him there being active, though. Great catch. That is not an easy catch. Good pass. See him acknowledging his teammate right there. Great pass by Leo Gutierrez.
Luis Scola came into this contest averaging 19 per. That was 6th in the FIBA Americas Championship 2007. A lot of Americans up there, Red, Mello, and a lot of Mexicans up there as well, scoring the heck out of the ball here in Vegas.
We talk about Scola's game, Rick. We know he likes to get up and down. Transition is his game. Nice move there by Ayon.
Gustavo Ayon, he looked like Pippen right there. I mean, I'm not comparing him to Pippen, but on that play, you know, Pippen used to be on the perimeter. It was that one dribble in those long strides, and he's right at the rim.
And again, we talk about the volleyball part of his past. That just tells me that he's one heck of an athlete. And you talk about the one dribble, that's all you need to get to the basket.
If you're as athletic and long as him.
Absolutely. Great point there, and he was able to take advantage of it. Plus, with only one dribble, you can't trap, you can't steal it, you can't clog up the lane. There's only one opportunity to get the ball because he only puts the ball on the floor one time. Very efficient drive to the basket.
Let's listen to Nolan Richardson. Whoa! Strong words for Enrique Zuniga.
Obviously, he did something that the coach did not like.
Whoa!
Coach Richardson telling him, one time, son, is the only time you'll get away with it. One time, shame on you. 2 times, shame on me. Nolan Richardson laying down the law of the land. There's the one dribble by Ayon. Great move right there.
That was awesome. That was good huddle sound. And speaking of that, how great is a Popovich huddle in the NBA Finals? Does it get any better than that?
Well, what's nice about Popovich, what I can really respect about him is he talks to all his players the same way. Some coaches see guys that they can get on and other guys that they don't like to get on. Pop, everybody's equal in Pop's eyes, and you got to respect the man who takes that approach.
They're all soldiers, and one of his mottos is you've got to give yourself up. And that's one of the military mottos, obviously, and he's a military man, and boy, has it worked for the Spurs. 4 chips in 9 years, and Mexico looking for the rebound here, but Argentina takes it. Sanders back out to Gutierrez. Another 3 for Leo Gutierrez, and Argentina up 10, under 10 to go here in this first half. Here's Anthony Lever. Makes the move, lost the ball. Was he fouled?
No foul. Just going to take the ball out of bounds underneath there with 3 seconds left to go. Coach Richardson may have a thing or two to point out to his players at halftime.
I want to be in that locker room.
Be interesting to be a fly on that wall.
Here's Ayon making another move, going glass and missing. So Mexico has put a charge into this arena in this tournament, and we'll see what they have in store for the second half. They need a lot more than they showed here in the first half, which was owned by Argentina, 51-41 Argentines at the break.
And again, we talk about Nolan Richardson, what he's going to have to do to get his troops back in line. They just got to be aggressive right now. That's all there is.
We're back with halftime coverage from the Thomas and Mack in Vegas. Rick and Alla chilling with you. First team All-EuroLeague with Tau Ceramiki each of the past 2 seasons, and he will be in the NBA with the Houston Rockets this upcoming year.
I mentioned a little bit earlier, was drafted by the San Antonio Spurs and then traded. Thiago Splitter has now become a San Antonio Spur.
And another three for Argentina. They are just killing from outside, and that's the third three of the game for Leo Gutierrez.
It's a good way to start off the second half if you're Argentina. Mexico is the one that really should be pressing the issue. Argentina comes out with a heck of a three right there.
Gustavo Ayón tried to answer, but his game more around the basket, so probably not the best offering, at least in the eyes of Nolan Richardson.
Argentina let him shoot that all night long.
As you can see, the signage at the top of the screen, they're already pumping up. Delfino with a four-point play opportunity in the corner, and he got nailed.
Is that possibly Scola who made that? I thought I saw Delfino, as you correctly. Let's find out. It is Delfino. You're absolutely right. It's Scola who gets knocked around right there by Ayón.
Okay, so it's not going to be a four-point play. That was down in the corner. We couldn't see it. Delfino nails the three. They've already put that on the board. So Argentina up 16, and they mashed Luis Scola. So presumably Argentina's going to get the ball back, a chance to build on this lead with 9:12 to go. A horrible start to the third quarter for Mexico.
Absolutely, and now they could actually, with this one trip down the floor, get 5 points out of this exchange. Let's see if Argentina can take advantage.
Well, knowing Argentina, they're going to get another three, and it's going to be a 6-point.
It'll be a 6-point, that's right.
Trip down the floor. Scola.
There's your three.
And it's rattled home by Antonio Puerta, and it is a 19-point lead for Argentina.
Came in right off the bat and scored 9 quick points in 1 minute of play.
That was Parada fighting with Quinteros on the floor for the rock and the foul on Quinteros. You know what? 19-point lead right around the half. Wasn't that the story in the last game when Puerto Rico had the huge lead on Uruguay? Uruguay won that game by 3.
Now let's see if they have the same intestinal fortitude that the Uruguayan team had collectively. It's a good way to start right there.
Yeah, I mean, Anthony Lieber, finally. I'm not mad at him. He needs more touches. I like this guy's game a lot. He can score in a variety of ways, and he brings Mexico within 17.
An interesting thing just happened this time down the floor. Mexico is not in a trap anymore. Good follow there by Scola. They're not trapping anymore, Rick. Maybe that's a testament to how well Argentina has handled their pressure thus far. Really spread the floor out, been ineffectual with the half-court trap.
Luis Scola the rebound, and Argentina is surging. Quinteros, reverse, it's good. They're making it look easy.
Timeout.
And they are running Nolan Richardson's Mexican national team out of the gym here at the Thomas and Mack Center. And if Nolan Richardson was yelling at his guys at halftime, how about this hug?
I would imagine that this one will be a little more of volume, if you will. He's not pleased right now. I don't see him really getting his team together, though. Has there been a timeout on the floor? Little confusion right here. You would expect him to call a timeout, but I don't think there is one right now. Mexico down 21. Right?
Nolan Richardson, 66 years young, apparently. And there was a technical foul called on Nolan Richardson. That will send Carlos Delfino to the stripe. So Nolan didn't call time. He created a timeout by taking the technical foul with 8:11 to go in the third. And
mission accomplished nonetheless. Stop the clock.
You know what? All of this one is slipping away.
It is. And Mexico beginning to unravel here right before our eyes.
Delfino, he nails them both, and the lead is 23 for the Argentines.
And they get the ball back as well. So another opportunity for them to possibly come down with more than just 2 or 3 points. See how they're not trapping anymore. Content Mexico is to just sit back and let them move the ball around.
Good close by Parada on the 3, but that rebound comes to Scola, and he is fouled by the Mexican national team's Gustavo Ayón. This is brutal. I mean, this is absolutely brutal. Mexico has 2 points.
2 guys in the middle there, and the lone Argentinian winds up with the basketball.
Reminds us of the Uruguayan game. Esteban Batista murdered the front line for Puerto Rico all game. Delfino is ablaze. And the lead is 25. And you look at this, 17-2, Argentina over Mexico here to start the third quarter. And we are 2.5 minutes in, and Argentina has 17 points. Are you that happy with Argentina or that mad at Mexico?
Well, I'm surprised at Mexico, playing on their heels, so to speak, not going out, not being aggressive. Finally, Coach Richardson calls a timeout here. We've got Argentina up by 25. We'll be back with Rick and Ali here on NBA.
They keep their guys in for a long time, even though it's a blowout, and they still play that exciting style of play with the ball movement and the fast breaking and the hitting of the threes. So if you like basketball played at a high level, take a look at the second-ranked team in the world, according to the FIBA rankings. Argentina, and the lead swells to 27. Leo Gutierrez, has he missed all of it?
I'll tell you what, he hasn't missed. He's been outstanding all night long. They keep going to him, and rightfully so, as they get a foul there on Parada by Scola. Nice little dump in there to Adam Parada. Scola with the foul before the shot goes up. They're still going to give him 2 shots there. But how quickly has this lead just ballooned up to 27 points? We were at 10, the differential at halftime, 51-41.
We were tied at the end of the first quarter, 23-all.
Mexico has scored 3 points to Argentina's 19.
You know what the turning point in the game was?
Let's hear it.
Ramel Beck going towards the trash can. The first timeout in the middle of the first quarter. Ramel Beck had 12 or 14 points at that time, had not missed, got sick to his stomach and vomited, and literally Mexico has not been the same team since.
No, they really haven't. Again, he hasn't been aggressive. He hasn't been assertive at all, and maybe a lot of that has to do with his physical conditioning right now. Not feeling good, maybe a little bit under the weather. He certainly hasn't looked the same, with the exception of maybe 1 or 2 plays. But again, Mexico as a whole reacting as opposed to being the aggressor. Ayon with the rebound there.
Second time Parada has blocked Delfino. Ramel Beck tracked it down, and Ramel Beck was all over the place defensively as well. We have not seen him wreaking havoc on that end. He has, had a couple of baskets after that, expulsion, I guess, for lack of a better word, but he has not been the same player. Mexico has not been the same team. Gutierrez, rare miss, out of bounds. That was off Mexico.
Mexico looked,
wasn't it?
Yeah, it looked like it was, but they're going to give it to Mexico right there. You see Mariscal going off to the sideline.
I thought I was crazy. I'm glad you agree with me.
I'm in agreement.
I thought I was 20/20 vision. I don't know. Maybe I need to consult an optometrist.
Mexico trying to get something started here, down 25.
Ramel Beck, low touch. How about this dude? The dunks, the threes, that was a post-up.
Absolutely, it was a post-up. Again, he's showing us everything in his repertoire right now. Stuff facing the basket, stuff from the perimeter, stuff going to the basket, and now he's on the block as well. What can't this young man do? Now Mexico's in a full court trap, trying to get back in this game, trying to score in bunches. Hasn't been the case thus far tonight.
Scola is trapped and fouled.
So now, if you have a trap in the corner there is absolutely no need to foul. You're bailing out a man in trouble, playing into his hands. Not a smart move there by the double team. I believe the foul was on Mariscal.
I mean, that's a triple team. When you
with the baseline, with the sideline.
Yeah, with the sideline as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Overplaying Anthony Lever, and
Mexico looking a little more active now than they were at the beginning of this third quarter. I don't know why they didn't come out of the locker room active, maybe trying to conserve some energy, but they seem to be getting up into people's faces now a little bit, trying to pick up the tempo.
I wish they had done it when it was a 12-point game. Now it's a 23-point game. Oh, low grippo. Went right through his hands like a wet bar of soap.
Uncharacteristic of him. Don't see him lose his concentration too often. Did on that play.
Down low, Parada, 4 against 4. Parada against Scola. The hook shot, long. Rebound, Delfino.
Had the drop step going to the basket, elected to go with the fadeaway. Not a good decision right there by Parada. Took a much more difficult shot. Scola.
He's crafty around the hoop. So is Lo Grippo. He missed, but he was fouled. And Mexico starting to get frustrated now.
You got to be a little upset at yourself there for giving up second chance opportunities. La Grippa, not a big guy. He's not 6'10 or 6'11, only about 6'6", 6'7", but not blocked out, taking advantage of Mexico falling asleep.
And he's a good example of a guy I've never heard of. I've covered Argentina basketball for a while for NBA TV, and never heard of this guy. So now, you know, no Manu, no Herman, no Alberto, and guys like this get to rise to the occasion a little bit, and I've really enjoyed his game. Diego Logrippo's a solid player.
I'm in agreement with you, Rick, and we talked a little bit about all the absences that Argentina's dealing with right now with their main guys. 6 of them, as we talked about a little bit earlier, that are not on this roster. What that does is it allows guys who would never have played to get a lot of quality time right now. These guys are the better for it when they come back next year, and assuming they qualified for the Olympics, now when all those guys come back, you're much better off than you were before because of the experience that your bench players have gotten.
Mexico has not qualified for the Olympics since 1976. And their upset win over Puerto Rico in Game 1 notwithstanding, it's going to be tough for them to get back. And for Argentina, they're the defending gold medal winners in the Olympics. They took gold at the Athens Olympics in 2004. And in this tournament, the FIBA America's Championship 2007, if you go to the gold medal game, you're in the Olympics. There are two automatic berths from this tournament. If you win gold or silver, you're in. And if you finish 3rd, 4th, or 5th, then you qualify for the Olympic pre-qualifying tournament next summer. And obviously, none of these teams want to do that.
No, I agree with you. And the thing about it, too, is when you get to the second round, as this tournament progresses, now all of a sudden you have to bring it on every given night. In the first round here, you're allowed to potentially have one bad night as long as you get past the first round. But as you get into the one and done area of this tournament, you really can't afford to take any afternoons off at all.
You know, you think of Puerto Rico, they're 1-3 right now, and they're done in the first stage as Omar Quintero scores, bringing the lead to 22. Deficit to 22, I should say. Quintero draws a foul right there on Argentina. Scola said, "Are you kidding me?"
Looked like a little incidental contact there. Not quite sure if Scola was trying to knock him down. He looked like he just got in the way of Quintero a little bit there. Let's take a look. He's just running down the floor. Really not much Scola can do there.
That's Omar Quintero just being clumsy, if you ask me. And Scola's laughing. He has a right to scoff at his 3rd foul. But Mexico can't turn it into anything. Argentina back. Now, I want to continue that point. If you finish 3rd, 4th, or 5th, you're still alive. But in this one, in the first round, 8 of the 10 teams move on to the second round. And this is a long 3, and it's good. Carlos Delfino, 74-49, Argentina.
Great find by Logrippo as well there. Had the opportunity himself, saw a better chance. Oh, Ramo Beck with a nice move.
I'm telling you, this guy's a prospect. He's an absolute prospect.
Got a nice game.
What's not to like, dude? That was a spin move. He went high off glass, in traffic. That was a beautiful move.
6'8", athletic, can put the ball on the floor, can defend as well. We saw him post up, we saw him shoot threes, we saw him dunk, steal the ball. He's done it all tonight.
Dude, he's 4th in the tournament in scoring coming into this game. It's not like this is a coming out party or anything for him, and that's a bucket right there for Hector Hernandez of Mexico, and it's a 21-point lead for Argentina. I don't know who his agent is. I'm not, trying to become his agent. I'm just saying one of the 30 teams in the NBA needs to give this guy, Ramel Beck, a look in training camp this year. I think he's earned it.
I agree with you, and ironically, Ramel Beck last year played for the Gatos Cats in Venezuela after finishing up his years at UNLV. 25-year-old. Had 24 points in the gold medal game in the Central American and Caribbean basketball tournament, also known as the Cocoba.
Shot clock running down on Argentina, but they say no problem. Carlos Delfino for 3. Argentina is in the zone as a team, and how rare is that?
For this tournament, it's rare, especially when you consider the lineup that they've had to go deal with. A bunch of changes all the way around. We talked a little bit prior to this tournament, you and I, Rick, about their system. It's really their system that allows everybody to be in positions to succeed. It's a credit to Coach Hernandez. It's a credit to the guys who give of themselves for the benefit of the overall team success.
Carlos Delfino with that 3, 16 points now. That ties Quinteros for team high honors. Delfino again. That one's from Toronto. It was off the mark. Lo Grippo, the rebound. He was blocked and or fouled on that one. No call. We come back the other way. Quinteros with it. Team down 24. Spinning, traveling, almost scoring. They didn't call the travel.
Looked like a walk.
Didn't it look like a walk right there?
Yes, it did. I have to agree with you on that. And Gutierrez feels the same way.
They give Quintero the benefit of the doubt. 3 fouls now on Leo Gutierrez. Watch this. The travel comes right about, maybe not. I thought there was an extra step in there. It
looked like a decent drop step right there.
It looked like a decent move. Not the first time or the last that I've been proven wrong by a replay. Quintero.
Now Mexico in their full court pickup here, trying to get Argentina in the situation where they're throwing the ball all over the gym. Argentina able to handle it adeptly.
You know what? Hector Hernandez, had he overplayed, he would have had a steal right there.
Absolutely.
He was slow to react to that cross-court pass right there, and then he tagged him with the foul, and he's upset because he got hit in the mouth. Dude, react.
It's all about positioning and anticipation. No anticipation there with that cross-court pass. That's what...
If I'm a broadcaster and I can see it developing, how can he? He's on the court. I don't get it.
Nolan Richardson's got to be hating that. The fact that you're in a position of advantage, the foul gets them off the hook. Not a good move there. One of the many things that's probably getting under Coach Richardson's skin tonight.
Pre-Olímpico gives his team a 79-55 lead. I'm just really surprised. I mean, Mexico, they beat Puerto Rico 189. I know Puerto Rico's underachieved in this tournament, but it's still an impressive win. Horacio Lamas puts it in. And then 95-90, they lose to Panama, but they played well in that game, had a chance to go up 2-0. And now, I mean, the walls have caved in on them here. And I know Argentina's the second-best team in the world, but they are without 6 rotation members from their regular team. I thought this would be a much closer game. I'm disappointed in the effort from Mexico.
As did I. I thought it would be a much better contested game, but again, you got to give a little credit to Argentina. And let's think about this. Maybe with all the new tactics that they've been implementing, maybe Mexico's a little tired. Maybe they're just a little fatigued right now. They certainly look like they're a little tired. Coach Richardson coming out of halftime, not trapping, maybe to give his team a little bit of a break.
If I'm not mistaken, though, they had a day off yesterday.
I believe you're right.
I think they played the first 2 days. I think they had day 3 off. Here's Quintero. Goes high off glass. Tapped up. No. And funny, Argentina comes up with the loose ball.
Argentina doing all the little things, the extra hustle there to secure the possession of the basketball. Now it seems like they're very content with just moving the ball around. Oh,
Delfino. They were going for the one-handed mash. Pre-Olímpico and Delfino. Hey, when you're up 22, why not go for style points?
They drew that play up. They meant to do that.
Hector Hernandez the miss. Lamas the tap in. It's a 20-point game.
If you're Argentina, you cannot let your foot off the pedal just yet. Got to maintain the style. Nice pass there by Pre-Olímpico. Got to maintain the style of play that has gotten you here thus far.
Delfino making a bid for an and one. He is a mad dunker, Carlos Delfino. Tremendous hops. He's got a 6'6" frame. He also has a nasty disposition about him. He wants to throw it down your throat. And he's been a little bit frustrated in a lot of his forays to the hoop that have resulted in fouls like that. Because you know Carlos, he wants to throw it down poster style.
And here's a guy that a lot of people underestimate his athleticism until he dunks on you. Yeah, until he dunks on you. But here's a guy that really does love to compete. Goes full bore, never shies away from any kind of challenge whatsoever.
And for Carlos Delfino, drafted 25th overall by the Detroit Pistons back in the 2003 draft, the fabled 2003 draft. Obviously gave the world LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, Dwayne Wade et al. 80-59 Argentina. Delfino's going to be a nice addition for that Toronto team, too.
Sure.
A lot of people are sleeping on Toronto. You know, you just talk to fans and people in the media, and I think a lot of people expect, and I'm just talking about the Atlantic in the East. Obviously, the big three now in Boston, they're going to be very tough to beat. The Nets, they're going to hover around 50 wins like they always do. But a lot of people think the Knicks are going to make this huge surge. They're going to play absolutely no defense. They're going to score 100-plus points a game. They're not going to stop anybody. A lot of people think the Knicks are just suddenly going to leapfrog Toronto. I think they're out of their minds.
Well, you know what? I was born and raised a Knicks fan, and I'd love to sit here and look you in the face and tell you I believe that the Knicks are going to play well next year, but I don't.
I mean, they might play better. I'm not hating on the Knicks right now, but to compare them to the Toronto Raptors who won 47 games last year and won the division, I think is false.
I agree with you. We see there with Gutierrez with a long-distance three. Let's talk a little bit about Toronto. Here's a team that made the playoffs last year for the first time in quite a while. They've got something to build on. That young core group of guys, talk about TJ Ford, Chris Bosh. Now, all of a sudden, they've got 1 year of playoff experience under their belt. They come back next year, assuming that they make the playoffs. Now, all of a sudden, they've got much more confidence in not only their own individual play, but as a collective unit. Toronto's a team on the rise. Think about what Sam Mitchell did last year. 9 new guys on a roster, and they played smooth basketball towards the end of the year.
That's why Sam, who is on the hot seat, I mean, they were talking about replacing him. He said, I'm winning Coach of the Year. I'm getting a long-term contract from Brian Colangelo, and I'm going to make my family happy for the rest of my life. We're happy for Sam Mitchell. What a good guy he is. Argentina crushing Mexico 83-59. I can't even compute the margin that Argentina holds over Mexico. They are all over Mexico, 83-59. According to my math, that's a 24-point advantage for the Argentines. Second-ranked team in the world, balling in Vegas at the Thomas and Mack Center. Rick Tamla, Ala Abdelnabi on the call. Happy to have you with us.
Mexico trying to go inside, get a little high-percentage shot. Ayon was a nice little
NBA
move
continuation,
right
Ala?
See what the referees call here? I don't think so. We're going to call it on the ground.
Ramel Beck leads everybody with 24 points, but he's the only Mexican in double figures. The next closest is Mariscal with 8, and another Mexican turnover. Back comes Argentina. I told you they keep their guys in there.
Absolutely.
This is a blowout. They got their starting point guard in there, Pablo Brioni.
Coach Hernandez thinks his team has still a lot to improve, a lot to work on, so he's keeping some of his main guys out there.
Gutierrez cannot stay hot. Rebound tapped up almost in. And back comes Mexico.
Gutierrez had all day to shoot that ball. Mexico very slow on their rotations. Fatigue, Rick, maybe setting in right now.
Ayon, the runner, flat. Rebound to Delfino.
They look deflated right now, Mexico. They're going to have to step up here. Up and down. They're traveling there on Lo Grippo.
You know, it's from the Argentine perspective, he's getting all of his mistakes out of the way in a blowout win. I mean, Lo Grippo is just foggy today.
He doesn't seem to be the initiator of good things as he was in the past, especially the night we saw him play 2 nights ago. He was very, very aggressive, came in the second half, effective inside, effective outside, was getting rebounds, defending, getting up in people's faces. Today, just doesn't seem to be going his way, but nonetheless, Argentina's still up by 24.
Good matchup between Delfino and Beck. Beck turned it over. Back comes Argentina. Delfino, the give up. And the reverse is good. What a bucket by Paulo Quintero. Argentina up 26. 8.5 to go in the basketball game. And Argentina still D'ing up.
They've not given up on their defensive assignments. Brioni going to decide to walk the ball up the floor, milk a little time off the clock here. You're up 24. You absolutely don't need to score. What you need to do is take care of the ball and use the clock. The clock is your best friend right now.
Lo Grippo was fouled right there. Look at that.
That was a tough shot. Like the tattoo on his arm, very Jordan-esque.
Dude, that was left-handed, too. I mean, he's, known for the outside stroke, and there's the Brent Barry look-alike, Federico Camarix. And I'm killing all over here. I'm probably killing Brent Barry if he happens to be watching this, but Bones Barry and this dude are like twin brothers, minus the stash on Camarix. They got to get another shot of his mug. I'm telling you, he's a Brent Barry look-alike.
As we look over his shoulder there, it's Diego Logrippo.
He even looks, I mean, he's skinny. He hits threes. Had a similar game to Brent Barry.
Down by Beck. Argentinians are still pesky out there, Rick.
Nice move to the hoop. Pedro Meza.
The traps become ineffectual. Argentina doing the right thing, going north and south, not trying to beat them east and west. Gaining ground with every pass.
Quinteros out to Camarix.
Great hustle.
There he is. Couldn't get the rock. I mean, Bones Barry hits corner threes, right? That was a corner three attempt. All right, I'll leave it alone.
What's impressing me here is as much as Mexico wants to trap, we know that's their game, the 40 minutes of hell that Coach Richardson implemented in Arkansas, but they're not able to trap them because Argentina has got the floor spread out so well that you can't get two guys, if you're a Mexican team, to trap one Argentinian player. Very impressive the way they've shown some discipline here in the half-court set on offense.
Meza can't go two in a row. The rebound to Camarix. He is bottled up, and they get it out of there. Here's Delfino for Argentina. And
do that trap.
It's an interesting story for Delfino. There was trepidation whether or not he would play in these first couple of games in the Marchand Cup in San Juan, Puerto Rico, a friendly tournament, if you will, a tune-up for this tournament. He injured his knee that he had surgery on a couple of years ago. And he was very worried that, obviously it would turn into something. It turned out to be much ado about nothing. I talked to Luis Scola and Delfino before this tournament even began, and they both said basically the exact same thing. It's no big deal. He'll be fine. And Delfino has not missed, any part of his regular rotation. He's been there and ready to serve for Sergio Hernandez. And Delfino keeps getting better as this tournament's going along.
I agree with you, Rick. And two other names you can add to the list of being pleased that Delfino is fine is Brian Colangelo. And we talk about Sam Mitchell, who's the head coach of Toronto. A newly acquired Delfino, they want to make sure that he starts off on the right foot. You don't want to come in behind the 8-ball with an injury. Thank goodness for him and the Toronto Raptors that he's A-okay.
Now, the news on Jorge Garbajosa isn't quite as good. Now, Spain wants him to play in Eurobasket 2007, coming up in September. And the Spanish doctors cleared Jorge Garbajosa. Now, if you saw Garbajosa's injury, and I know all of you did, but the fans watching right now, if you saw his injury when he got tangled up with Al Jefferson and snapped his leg, and that was late in the season. We're only a few months removed from that. So I heard that report that the Spanish team cleared him, and obviously I was dubious of it. Of course they want him to play.
Of course.
And I think the deal is he's close, but here's the deal. That's the Spanish national team getting greedy. They're already in the Olympics, Ala. They won the World Championship last year, and they're going to be very good even without Garbajosa, obviously better with him. And then, of course, Toronto and Brian Colangelo, he had his doctors look at Garbajosa, and funny, they did not clear him to play.
No, it's two different agendas. Obviously, at times like these, conflicting agendas right now, but let's face it, you and I saw that injury when he did get tangled up with Al Jefferson.
It was one of the worst you'll ever see.
Absolutely. And no surprise that the Basketball Federation of Spain is trying to get him back sooner than later. But again, would you rather have him this summer or would you rather have him next summer, a healthier Garbajosa? And like you said, great point, they've already qualified for the Olympics. Really not much to do in the championships, FIBA championships of Europe. all they can do is just play basketball and improve individually and collectively, but you don't need a guy like Jorge Garbajosa. But I've dealt with basketball federations in my own native country of Egypt, and you know what? We always didn't see eye to eye either. Agendas are paramount, and you just don't know where they're coming from and who's behind them.
That's an offensive foul on Omar Quintero. Now, to the defense of the Spanish national team, and they are the reigning world champs, so much credit goes to them. There's a much bigger deal, and it is a much bigger deal, Eurobasket 2007, than this tournament. And I say that with all due respect to the FIBA Americas Championship. It is a big deal, but it's not as big of a deal as Eurobasket, which is an Olympic pre-qualification tournament. However, it has its own significance as Eurobasket is played every other year. And Pau Gasol's going to be there for Spain. I mean, Dirk Nowitzki's going to be there for Germany. So it is a very big deal.
A lot of pride on the line, Rick. Like we talked about a little bit earlier, Spain is making it. A lot of teams still trying to qualify, but they're trying to be the best in their own backyard right now. That does matter a lot to them. Some national pride up in the air at stake here in Europe. It's going to be interesting to watch, too. It'll be interesting to see how they handle their players, because you got to wonder, Garbajosa, he's got to be feeling a little bit tugged from both directions here. He wants to play, I'm sure,
he does.
but at the same time, you can't jeopardize not only your livelihood, but also your future. That was a terrible injury he had to deal with.
And all. The Toronto Raptors, coming off a 47-win season, this is going to sound absolutely crazy, but to me, the Eastern Conference is wide open. There's about 6-ish teams that I think could go all the way, and the Toronto Raptors are one of those teams.
And the thing about it is, it's one of these balancing acts that a lot of professional players have to deal with. How important is playing for your country as opposed to your job? You are a professional, you're a professional athlete, and you've got responsibilities that you are expected to follow through regarding your team. Now, he's obviously very proud of wearing his Spanish jersey on his chest when he goes and represents his country, but it can't be at too high of a cost.
Garbajosa, one of the best players at the World Championship last year when the Spaniards won without Pau in that championship. Well, one of my favorite Dead tunes is the Mexicali Blues, and that's what's going on here from the...
He's got it all represented there. He's got the blue headgear on with the Mexicali on his shirt.
I wonder if he's also a Raider fan.
You might sit in the end zone there.
You know what I'm saying?
With the rest of the Halloween creatures.
Can you believe that scene? It's unbelievable.
I'll tell you what, intimidating is putting it mildly.
Well, you played overseas where they throw batteries at you and all that kind of stuff, and that's a raucous crowd in Oakland as well for those Raider games.
Sure is, and who knows, they may be throwing stuff out there in Oakland too. I think I've seen some flying projectiles. Nice move right there by Parada.
Adam Parada, a flying projectile into the bucket, and he makes it a 20-point game. Here's Camarix looking for the jam, and he finger rolls it home, and one. Now you'll get a good look at the Bones Berry look-alike.
Very Barry-ish on that move.
He
right
was,
there.
wasn't he?
Very. I'm going to agree with you. Look at this.
Tell me that doesn't look like Brent Barry.
It really does. It really does. A little spooky in the resemblance.
He's the Argentine version of Brent Barry.
There's a good look at him.
I'd leave it at that.
Yeah, need we say more?
If he took off the mustache, you would think that's Brent Barry in an Argentina uniform. Federico Camarix with 4 points. He was a factor very early in Argentina's win a day or two ago, and here really didn't do anything until the second half. The rotations in international play, whether it's the Euro League, the Serbian League, or the FIBA Americas Championship, they're dubious.
Tough to gauge.
They're tough to gauge. I'm not mad at them. They're weird. They're very hard to figure out.
Well, here's maybe an explanation behind a little bit of it. Now, I can't profess to get into Coach Hernandez's head, but when you're playing so many games in so many days, sometimes you do have to put in a different lineup out there. Some guys respond to being pushed or being tired a little bit better than others. Some guys fatigue quicker than others do. You as a coach, you're the only one who really knows how to handle your team better than anybody else out there. So maybe they, as coaches, see something you and I sitting here courtside can't see.
Well, we talked about Nolan Richardson. He went all one color in the first 2 games, and Mexico played very well in those games with a 1-1 mark. he went two-tone here with the red and the white. He's got to go back to like the one-color jumpsuit deal for game number 4.
As he's walking off the court, are you going to tell him?
No, I want you to tell him. You're 6'10", I'm 6'2". You tell him.
We beat them in college. He probably doesn't even want to see my face.
Yeah, but Nolan does have a ring.
Yes, he does. He beat another Duke team in 1994. I was at that game, got a chance to visit with President Bill Clinton at the time. He was an Arkansas grad, or from the state of Arkansas. So got a chance to sit with him and watch him gloat over his Razorbacks winning over my Duke Blue Devils.
Was that Scotty Thurman?
Scotty Thurman over Antonio Lang.
Wow, that's a trivia question right there. That was it. I mean, that was, you know, the outside shooters practice over the broomstick. Well, that shot was over the proverbial broomstick because one of your Dukies had a great
Antonio Lang, yeah, was out there, 6'9" and all, long arms, got his hand up, rotated in time. He's got to give credit where credit's due. He knocked down a long-range 3.
That was a cold-blooded 3, baby.
Sure was. And the thing was, he didn't have a great night all night, but when it counted, Scotty stepped up to the plate. Got that man right there on your screen. Coach Nolan Richardson, his first championship. Let's talk a little bit about Coach Richardson. He is the only head coach in the history of basketball to win a junior college national championship, an NIT national championship, and the NCAA tournament championship as well. So rarefied air there for Coach Nolan Richardson.
And, you know, Larry Brown is the only guy to win an NCAA and an NBA championship. I don't have any comparison. I just wanted to throw that out there.
That's impressive, nonetheless.
Exchanging facts here late in the blowout. 93-72. Argentina over Mexico. 3:30 to go in the game.
You mentioned a little bit earlier, Delfino still out on the floor there, Rick. Pre-Olímpico still out on the floor.
That's Sergio Hernandez's way, I'm telling you. In the World Championship last year, they'd be killing a team by 30 points, and Nocioni would be out there on the fourth quarter. That's just the way they roll.
Maybe he doesn't feel too comfortable with having all of his starters sitting on the bench. Maybe he feels a little bit safer with 1 or 2 floor generals out there, and he's got Pre-Olímpico and Delfino out there at the same time to handle the ball, bring it up, make good decisions. Not a great decision there. I love that goes in and out.
Wow, Porta, great dribbling job there on the sideline, and a foul on Delfino. Luis Scola, he's been an MVP candidate the last couple of years in the EuroLeague, and he'll be going to the Houston Rockets. And that's a look at your winners. So Argentina's going to go to 3-0, Ala, and Brazil 3-0, USA 3-0. No surprise. They're the three top teams in this tournament. And Puerto Rico, who we thought was an elite-ish type of team coming into this tournament, 1-3. What's going on with Puerto Rico?
Very shocking to me, the fact that Puerto Rico has not been able to sustain good play. They've had it in spurts, Rick, but they seem, for whatever reason, to be in a lot of foul trouble. Maybe that stems from a lack of discipline, a lack of conditioning to a certain extent. But again, you got to ask yourself, why is a guy like Carlos Arroyo, who up until now has, in my opinion, played pretty darn good international basketball, just can't seem to get it going at all in this tournament? And subsequently, you see a team like Puerto Rico struggling because of it.
They're in a log-jammed group as well. Puerto Rico in Group A, Argentina in Group A, and Argentina is going to win the first stage of Group A, but you've got Puerto Rico at 1-3. Mexico is going to drop to 1-2. Panama, as we speak, has 1 win, and Uruguay is 2-1. Puerto Rico is not a lock to make the second phase, and it's shocking to even say that is a possibility. Here's the deal. The Argentines, their last game here in the first phase is tomorrow against Panama. Now, if, and it's a gigantic, miraculous if, Panama beats Argentina, Puerto Rico's out. Because Panama will not have, if Panama loses and they're 1-3, Puerto Rico's 1-3. Puerto Rico clobbered Panama. So they're going to win the tiebreaker right there and move on. But, just saying, if a miracle happens and Panama beats Argentina, Puerto Rico, shockingly, would not make the second phase.
Yeah, it's hard to even hear those words come out of your mouth because I know you picked them to do very well. I certainly expected them to at least hold true to form, play the way they've played for the last couple years, but it just seems like, for whatever reason, their main guys, Barea being suspended obviously doesn't help, but Arroyo, when you talk about Ayuso, guys that start off or play well in spurts, just can't seem to get it done over a 40-minute stretch. And subsequently, like we talked about a little earlier, Puerto Rico may be one of the first teams to go home, shocking as that sounds.
So outside of the Americans, who obviously are the best team in this tournament, Argentina is going to go to 3-0. Brazil is at 3-0. We've seen a lot of both of them in this tournament. Who do you think poses a bigger threat to the Americans, if a threat at all?
Well, again, I'm going to have to lean with Argentina, the team we're watching now, only because of past success and past success with the system that they're using now. As good as Brazil is, and they can be very effective, of course, with guys like Leandro Barbosa, I should say, and also Nene from the Denver Nuggets. But it just seems to me that even though Argentina doesn't have its 6 main guys, there's still a few studs left in the stable. So I wouldn't be surprised if, when it's all said and done, it's the United States playing against Argentina in the gold medal game here in Las Vegas.
And I think for Argentina, you know, that's all they want. I don't think without Manu and Nos, they're going to beat the Americans. Matter of fact, I think they're going to get crushed by the Americans if they play in that gold medal game. But at that point, it's not going to matter. I mean, it would. They want the gold. But what they want to do is qualify for the Olympics and not have to put the Manus and the Noses through that pre-qual next summer. So just getting to that gold medal game and winning silver, I mean, that's a heck of a consolation prize. Your ticket is punched for Beijing.
Absolutely. And you can relax a little bit now. You can all of a sudden change your objectives. You don't have to worry about being at high level or top flight level of basketball early for that qualifying tournament. You can relax, pace yourself, and get yourself ready for Beijing. It's going to be, it's the biggest thing that these teams are going after right now. It's that one spot. Assuming that the United States gets one, there's one left for everybody else. They're vying for that one position. It's going to be interesting to see what happens throughout the next week, 10 days here in Las Vegas.
It's like back in the day. Jordan was going to lead the league in scoring. It was the battle for second place.
Absolutely.
That's the story in the FIBA Americas Championship.
Well, let's hope it stays that way.
But the Americans are not losing a game in this tournament. They've never lost a game in FIBA Americas Championship play. Never. Not one time. And it's not going to happen this year.
I tend to agree with you. They're clearly head and shoulders above everybody else here in the tournament. But again, Rick, you never know what happens on any given night. You got to bring it night in and night out.
Last I checked, Greece is not in this tournament, okay? And last I checked...
Is that our Achilles heel?
Well, maybe, but last year's team that lost to Greece in the semifinals didn't have Kobe.
Absolutely.
Didn't have Red.
Yes.
Didn't
Jason
have Amari.
Kidd.
Didn't have Jason Kidd. And didn't have Chauncey Billups. See where I'm going with this?
Yes.
This year's team, this team at the FIBA Americas Championship is a whole lot better than the team that went to the World Championship last year and fell a little bit short. That team was fantastic. This team is phenomenal.
I spoke to Coach K this summer, talking to him about this team and how he selected them. Obviously, he talked about a lot of different guys, but we'll get back.
At the 2-minute mark, we welcome you back to Vegas for the final seconds of Argentina's win over Mexico. Carlos Delfino leads the Argentines with 20. Paulo Quinteros right behind him with 18. Ramel Beck, who we have not seen in a while, he leads everybody with 24. And at the line right now, after a free throw attempt like that, does he even deserve to have his name mentioned?
Protect the women
and
children.
Does he want his name mentioned after that free throw miss? Martin Leba. I'm just kidding with you, bro. 0 for 2 and not close on either. However, and not that he even wants this. He doesn't even want the additional opportunity off the lane violation. He's going to get it anyway.
Victor Avila was in lane violation before he even shot the ball by like 3-4 seconds. That was a no-brainer for the referees. To no avail, though. He misses the third opportunity at the free throw line.
And not close on that one either.
Now, if you're Argentina, you don't want to foul right now. You want to make sure you end up this game with everybody healthy, feeling good about themselves individually and collectively. But there's no reason to do that.
Listen, with all due respect to Sergio Hernandez, I can understand keeping your guys in for a lot of the fourth quarter, but Paulo Quinteros is their 6th man, and he's still out here. I don't agree with that. Rebound, Camarix. I mean, this is the time for the deep bench guys to get some run. And, well, he can't hit a free throw, but he can lay it in. Martin Leva, the bucket. And Argentina 1 point away from triple figures. The bucket is good. Victor Avila. So Mexico came into this one averaging about 98 points per game and in the 80s right now. Are we crediting Argentina's defense or blaming Mexico's offense?
Well, what I'm going to do is credit Argentina's offense, believe it or not, Rick, because they've not allowed Mexico to get steals, get out into the open floor, and get some easy baskets. They've been very, great move from him there.
And one by Antonio Puerta.
You mentioned it earlier, Coach Hernandez sending a message out there. We do not let up. We are Argentina.
And as the FIBA commercials say, we are basketball. There you go, Alan. Antonio Puerta completes the three-point play, and Argentina at 102, Mexico at 81. And from the Mexican standpoint, this game mercifully about to end. Nice take right there by Hector Hernandez.
Again, you see Argentina offering up some token resistance, but when someone from Mexico penetrates, you let them go through. You don't want to risk fouls because you don't want to stop the clock.
Sanders, double team.
Oh, great pass.
Indeed, in the flush, Martin Leva throwing it down.
Read Hector Hernandez right there. He was about to rotate up, passed it right behind him. Great find, great finish.
In and out. That typifies the day for Mexico. Pedro Meza thought he had a bucket.
Sums it up, doesn't it?
A microcosm of this game, if you will.
This is a 10-point lead at halftime. Now it's at 21 with 9 seconds left to go.
Sanders misses the three. One more chance for Mexico if they want it. Here's Quintero. 2 seconds left. One, and that is it. Argentina and Sergio Hernandez confidently, triumphantly moved to 3-0 in this tournament. And Mexico, after upsetting Puerto Rico in the first game 189, they've lost 2 straight. They lost to Panama, and now here to Argentina. They are 1-2 in this championship. Paulo Quinteros, 18 points in this one, and it is time now for the higher play of the game. And let's check this out. Antonio Puerta hanging, hitting, and one. And he took much contact as well. Antonio Puerta, our high play of the game. So Carlos Delfino leads Argentina with 20, Quinteros with 18. 5 Argentina players with double figures in scoring. 2 on the Mexican side, led by Ramel Beck with 24, and Parada had 10. All some final thoughts?
For me, the story was in the third quarter. We're looking at the score tally there. 32 points for Argentina coming out of the halftime, I should say. Right out of the locker room, they were up 10, really opened up the lead. For me, that was the story of the game. They simply did not allow